All right, so hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining today so that we can hear from some of our Society of Women Engineering students at UMass Amherst about what it's like being an engineering student. So go UMass and go engineering, right? So I'm Paula Reese. I am the Assistant Dean for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in the college. My background is civil engineering, water resources in particular. But what I'd like to do now is have all of the SWE members introduce yourselves and tell us what your major is, what year you are. One of the things maybe that you love the most about your major, what made you choose it. So just kind of a little overview. And maybe if you could also give like one little tidbit about yourself, just like a fun fact or something like that. So Mary, I'm going to go with you because you're the most senior of the women, young of the students on the panel. I am most definitely the most senior.
Gotcha. Well, hi everybody. My name is Mary Gerasi. I am currently a senior mechanical engineering major at UMass. I am also the president of the Society of Women Engineers, so that is a really fun time. I guess the reason why I went into engineering, I've jumped around a lot, definitely, but I was always intrigued when I was younger and now still. Whenever I always loved NASA, and I always loved, my favorite activity is going stargazing, and I'd always think it'd be so cool if you could get to go to another planet and see what it's like. And it's like maybe make like another civilization on that. So I'm kind of like, engineering can get me there. If I can do engineering, maybe I can figure out a way to go to another planet, another universe, see what's out there. And I don't know, that keeps me hungry for learning for more. So I really like that. And a little, I guess that's my tidbit about myself as well. I am a big being like outdoors person. So I love doing like activities. Recently I've started skateboarding, so that's really fun. And I built my own electric skateboard in quarantine. So that was also pretty cool. And I just love being outside, watching the sunset, stargazing, going swimming at the beach and stuff like that.
Awesome, thank you. Alex, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Before I go into it, Mary, that's so adorable. Okay, when SWE can be in person again, stargazing retreat.
Please.
Anyhow, hello everybody. My name is Alex Lazarov. I'm a sophomore biomedical engineering student with an engineering management minor, aka business. So I love biomedical engineering. I've always been surrounded by medicine because my father does work in pharma. He's currently in Moderna right now working on the vaccine, which is very cool and inspiring. But I knew I didn't want to just do science. I want to do more with technology and actually building solutions rather than sort of being part of, the big pharma cog and working with maybe just clinical trials. I wanted to really produce and create solutions for people. And I've always had a strong foundation in science and math. So biomedical engineering was for me. I really appreciate how it's almost like a jack of all trade sort of major. You get to take from so many other engineering disciplines like mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, chemical engineering, but put it in a health context or more of like a medical application. But at least with UMass's curriculum, you get a chance to specialize and explore topics you're super passionate about within BME. So I love the major. I feel like I can really sample what engineering is within a medical context. And then about me, just like Mary, I'm a huge outdoors gal. I feel like I'm crunchy to the core. Right now, I currently have a goal of hiking all 48 4,000 footers in the Whites. So I don't know if that's going to happen when it's super snowy and wintry, but I love hiking.
And another tidbit, Alex introduced the dean last night at our homecoming, right?
Yes, I did. Oh, that's going to be a good fact to use from now on. So for homecoming, the College of Engineering held a showcase where we sort of talked about some really distinguished faculty and alumna from UMass, and also had some people from the industry come in and talk about how UMass is dealing with COVID and the sort of really cool, innovative things our faculty are doing here in regards to maybe helping diagnose COVID or, improving upon masks and things like that. And I got to introduce the College of Engineering Dean, Sanjay Raman. So it was really awesome. UMass has a lot of really cool opportunities where you can interact with the engineering faculty and maybe get some clout. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Paula.
Of course. And Erin, how about you?
My name's Erin Newhall. I am a freshman biomedical engineering major, potentially adding on another major onto that, but we'll see. I've been surrounded by engineers for a lot of my lifetime because my dad, grandfather, number of uncles, it's it's a lot. But like we've done a lot of like discussing stuff and like that sort of thing, and I've always like loved like having conversations about like how things work and like figuring out that sort of stuff. And then so that's kind of how I came to engineering, but I guess my degree more came from a fun class I took my junior year. It was like intro to biomedical sciences, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. We did a lot of dissections and stuff, and I
since
really
it's
love
well
that.
to see that you got a class like that where not everybody gets a chance.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I don't think I would have gone into biomedical engineering if it wasn't for that class, to be honest. I'm not sure where I would have been. Like, I probably would have gone into engineering, but I'm not sure which discipline.
I was gonna say I had no engineering background going into college. So just so everyone knows, you don't necessarily need to have any sort of experience with engineering to be in it. You just need to have the dedication to it and passion to get into it.
So it looks like, Abby, welcome. We're having the high school students keep your cameras off because we're recording. But we just did some introductions, and I want to open it to you and Anna. What questions do you have for our SWE women? I have questions I can ask them, but we're here for you. So what are your questions? What do you want to know? And you can also put them in chat. All right, I'll let you think of any questions you have, and I'll ask one instead. So you've covered some of the questions that I have, but why don't we do, is engineering what you expected it to be? And so Erin, I know this is very new. Why don't you go answer that one first, since it's your first semester? Is it?
Well, it's kind of sort of my second, but not really, because I did summer.
Okay, all right, yeah.
So like, I don't know, my 1.5.
So what you expected so far?
I've really enjoyed it, I'll say that much, but no, it is not what I expected. I wasn't expecting it to be like, so I guess I thought it would be more theory coming like for the first few classes and less mathy just as like a beginning. And like so in our intro to engineering class, like I wasn't expecting to work with numbers initially. I thought we were just gonna cover like the overarching like theory first.
All right, so the intro to biomed engineering is a little.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't get into that one. I'm in the Engine 100.
Oh, into the one that's going across all. So Engine 100, just for the high schoolers, that gives you an overview of each of the different majors. You spend 3 weeks on each of the majors, 3-4 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of those, has your exposure to any of the other majors changed your like passion for doing biomed?
Not necessarily changed my passion for it, but made it such that I'm thinking of adding on another major in the realm of either electrical or computer engineering.
Whoa, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I love it.
So Mary or Alex, how about you? Has it been what you expected?
I can go. Honestly, going into engineering, I wasn't really sure what to think because I performed pretty well in high school between STEM classes and humanities. So I was like, it shouldn't be too bad with the intro courses. And honestly, that's what I found. Because I did take a few AP classes, I got to get some of the basic classes out of the way. Um, I sort of already had a foundation going into college. So if I'm being completely candid, it I haven't hit a wall yet with engineering. But let me tell you, everybody does at some point. I feel like it's it's definitely a difficult major, but not necessarily at an intellectual level. I feel like you really need to get your time management skills on lock. You need to put a lot of hard work, and I can guarantee you will survive and you can get through it. I think the only learning curve or sort of expectation that has been proven right for me is that it takes a lot of work to perform well and to truly understand the content. Because I feel like with school in general, especially being virtual, a lot of people just sort of do things to get the grades these days. They don't really take the time to truly learn the material. But with engineering, you can't really fake that because you need all these things to, build effective solutions in the future. So it definitely takes a lot of motivation. But I think I was expecting that going into it. It was simply just reconfirmed. But there haven't been any curveballs yet. I'm still in my undergrad, so who knows?
Thank you. Mary.
Yeah, I really didn't have that much exposure to engineering during like throughout my high school curriculum, but my dad, who was a chemical engineer, he took me to like woman in engineering days at UMass Lowell, which is around my house, and at Northeastern. So I got some exposure through that, but of course it was only for like 2 hours out of one day. And I'd walk away and be like, ooh, I just got to simulate an earthquake in this cool lab at Northeastern University. And then I was like, I don't know how that happened, but it did. But yeah, so that was my very limited exposure. And then in high school, like Alex said, I took AP classes. And I predispositioned myself to go into biology when I came to college, and I wanted to be on the pre-med track because that's what I thought that I wanted to do. I wanted to do so many things. I still want to become a doctor at some point in my life, but I was like, I think mechanical engineering is the way. So when I came into UMass, I went into bio and I took all the College of Natural Sciences classes. And I was like, maybe this isn't for me. And then I switched into civil engineering for like half a semester. And I was learning about, that was like the intro to civil engineering class. And I was learning about like bridges and whatnot, and kind of what Erin said, it was more math than like theory at first. And I was like, this is kind of interesting. But they just want to give you that taste of like each class that you need to build on your degree. And when I got into mechanical, it was definitely, I didn't have any expectations, so everything threw me for a loop. I was struggling to catch up since I like changed my major a couple times. So I had taken like 6 engineering courses at once during my sophomore year, which is your prime time for all those core basic classes that you need to use as building blocks. I do not recommend that. No, that was a very low point in my life. But yeah, engineering, like everybody has said, is extreme. It's very hard, but you have to have the determination, the passion for it. And I've hit many walls being like, am I really good enough? If I just failed this test, I don't think I should be an engineer. And sometimes the professors are like, oh, this is kind of indicative of something. And I'm like, I do not like what you're suggesting. But of course, I'm also that kind of person that's like, when you say no to me, it just makes me want to prove you wrong and like do it as like well as I can. So that was my stubbornness and determination showing through. But one of the things that really got me through the difficult engineering curriculum was my study group of friends that I made. Unfortunately, I made it like the last week of my sophomore year, so I was doing everything by myself up until then, which I also highly do not recommend. Like forming study groups in engineering is like the key thing, because we bounce ideas off each other and we learn better, and that's really what got me through engineering. Yes, I guess that's my little spiel on that at the moment.
Thank you. Any questions, Anna? Here we go. What do you enjoy the most about your major? Awesome question.
I could go first. So I'm a mechanical engineer, and the thing that I really enjoy the most about it is about how versatile we are, because you go into like you're going to look in for internships or jobs, and you'll see something that's like, for example, I've been applying to like NASA every chance I get, and it was like a planetary data engineer, and they're like, you can have a degree in mechanical engineering or like computer science or something like that. Or also, for example, I have a job lined up as a systems engineer, even though I'm a mechanical engineer. And I just really like how I don't have to stick in one area. I can move and jump around and learn a ton of different things and be useful that way. So that's definitely what I really like most about being a mechanical engineer. And I also know that's why a ton of people go into mechanical engineering, because like they kind of don't really know what they want to do, but they know they can do a couple different things when they go in that direction.
To expand on Mary's point, I already kind of mentioned why I love BME. It is broad. It's weirdly niche because it is within a medical and biology, sort of life science application, but you still get a taste of like all the engineering disciplines, or a majority of them. I think what I really just love the most is just being an engineer. As Mary says, it will get you employed somewhere. I can say that. Like, for example, with my internships, I literally got an offer for being a systems engineer at Dell, not even before October. And then I got an offer for systems engineering at General Dynamics Mission Systems. And these things not related to biomedical engineering at all. But I think something important to know is that your major doesn't have to define what you want to do. It's a great place to start exploring what you're interested in, but just know that it's never definite. So that's a point I want to make. And that's something I just love about engineering in general. No matter what discipline you're in, you're always going to have that engineer, label on across your forehead, and employers will love you for that. And it's a great place to explore from.
That's a great point, Alex. Really important. Engineering opens doors, and it keeps doors open. Mm-hmm. Erin, anything you want to add? I know.
I don't think I've had enough.
Side.
I don't think I've had enough of an experience to like add on to that, to be honest.
So Anna, do you have any other question for right now? All right, so think of another one, because that was a really good one. Yeah, I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about like what it's like day to day, and maybe, I mean, right now in this remote environment, let's not talk about that because that's not so good. Hopefully we're gonna get back to a face-to-face, but like, what is like a week like for an engineering student? Do you have time to have fun, to socialize, or is it you're just studying 24/7?
I'm curious to hear from Erin right now. I mean, your only experience is virtual, but how is it?
It's not too awful, to be honest, but it's definitely an interesting balance to try to keep up with.
Nice.
But yeah, I definitely do have the time to socialize. It's just I also have the time to procrastinate, so that's an issue.
So big. For me, I'm a bit psychotic and I'm a part of like a million different things other than school. That's something big. You should also realize you're more than just an engineer. You should definitely get involved in college and even in high school where you are. It's great to build up your passions and meet people through clubs and organizations, and even starting something on your own is super fulfilling. And that's what I personally really enjoy doing. So I'm the VP of membership for UMass's Student Alumni Association. So that's where at least 3 hours of my week goes for meetings. And then I'm also the campus engagement representative for the Society of Women Engineers. I always love helping out there. And then I'm also an engineer peer for Paula. And there are a few other bits and bobs I'm involved in, but you can definitely have a balance between clubs, performing well academically, and still have free weekends. It is very possible. Let me just say that. And I'm not even the best at time management. I definitely procrastinate, but I'm managing to do it all without having mental breakdowns. So I feel like engineering is definitely what you make of it. You can definitely make it very balanced, or you can make it very stressful for yourself, depending on, the type of workload you take upon it. If you have other commitments, if you want to do research, if you want to do another job, it's really what you make of it. But you can do whatever you want really with the schedule. I don't think it's that limiting.
Thank you. Mary, anything to add?
So typically, when I took 6 engineering classes, all I did was work. That was basically all I did. And then I would have like dinners with my friends. I think that, but then again, this brings back to my point. Do not take 6 engineering courses at once. That is just not a good idea. But the past couple of semesters, and I'm really, I don't know. I think of myself as a good time management person. Whenever I have something due, I mark it on my calendar and I make time to do it. And I always like get it done. And I try to get it done ahead of time. So I don't really have much issues there. But sometimes they slip between my fingers and everything gets messy, but very limited amount of times. Anyway, but I would say my junior year, I would go to class, but of course I had my study group, and my study group evolved into my friends. So whenever we'd be doing homework, it would be like we're just hanging out together, and we would get stuff done, but then afterwards we'd make like inside jokes and like talk about class and maybe poke fun at a professor or something. And it just makes your engineering experience like enjoyable, really. And it kind of helps you make those key memories that you have in college and stuff like that. But we wouldn't always do homework. We'd go out to dinner sometimes, or we would get bubble tea after like an exam and try to de-stress and stuff like that. Currently, I'm trying to do more outdoor adventures during the weekends, and I'm able to do that. When you're a senior, you have a semi lighter of a workload, but it's a little complicated now. But yeah, you can definitely manage your the time you allot for work and the time that you allot to just chill out, relax. And definitely what Alex said, when you're at UMass, you're not only an engineering student, but you can join so many clubs. The UMass Outing Club, I know you can go out on hikes and meet new people that way, not just engineers. You can join rec sports teams. I always wanted to join the soccer rec sports team, but I don't know why I didn't. None of my friends wanted to, but that's something
left.
I regret it. Also, like Alex said, if you want to have more fun in engineering, but you don't really want to, do all the hard engineering work, come be a part of the Society of Women Engineers. We have such a great time, and we do things like this with like community outreach and get to talk to high schoolers. And like Paula said, we love talking to high schoolers and piquing their interest, seeing what they like, what they don't like. And if we can help in any way, it's just you get to a point where you realize like, hey, I made it through this far. I want to try helping other people make it through like this. And yeah, definitely to get back to the original question of what you do in it. Like a presidential debate. Yeah, I'm like, wow, you're going off topic. But yes, I wake up very early and then I like to do a little workout and then shower and then I go to my classes, and in between classes I'll have lunch with my friends, and then usually when classes end, we'll make a plan to meet up to do homework for like 3 or 4 hours, and then we'll go to dinner and call it a night, watch a movie, and then yeah, very relaxed, chill, but gotta work hard and study too. But you can definitely do that.
Yeah, that's pretty similar to me too. And one more thing I just want to quickly add, and Mary, you just brought up something really good. Um, I think advice that I've always lived by, even in high school and in college, is if you're deciding between two things to do, maybe it's studying versus going out to a dinner with your friends, just do the thing that you're gonna remember the most. You don't want to, have college go by in just the blink of an eye and just realize all you did was work. Make sure you make those fun memories, and and it's the same for high school too. I remember I felt like I just worked way too hard on college applications, and I didn't get to enjoy my first half of senior year as much as I wish I did. So just always remember to live beyond school and beyond engineering.
So Anna, do you have another question? I'm going to ask one question, then we'll wrap up. I know Alex has a test at 2, and do you have any last questions that you want to ask specifically? Otherwise, I'll ask one for you. All right, so my question on behalf of Anna is, what, like as a freshman in high school, like what are the key things to do between now and senior year to figure out, well, one, to get set, to be an engineering student, and secondly, just to figure out, do I want to do engineering or do I want to do something else? What tips?
Mary, you mentioned how you did some outreach stuff, so you want to go?
Yes, I was gonna say thank you, Alex. Honestly, what you're doing right now, coming to this panel, engaging in this Women in Engineering Computing Day, but weeks really, that is great exposure to see what you're interested in, maybe what you want to try and pursue. And if you find something like, hey, I don't really like this, it's not a lost cause, because then you can rule that out of the way and kind of focus and get more niche into what you really enjoy. So this is a perfect example of what you can do throughout high school. And another thing that you can do is you can kind of use high school as practice for college. Like, say I'm using my high school experience, but I think I had 8 periods throughout the day with 8 different classes. And I would set aside like, okay, during this class, I'm only focusing on this class. And you will write down after when you need to study, what homework you need to do, what like chapters you need to read and stuff like that. And I'd set aside time for each a different class. And that's kind of the same thing what you need to do in college. But of course you have like what today? This is different. I have 3 classes today. Yeah, okay. So obviously 3 is much less than 8, but of course these classes kind of require some more time to be taken out for them. So definitely treat your high school as practice for college and kind of take those classes that are related to engineering. Like I know you could take calculus. I think that's required. I feel like pre-calc is required, but
Pre-calculus.
yes.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, you could try to take like AP Calc, but if not, Calculus Honors, Calc CP, whatever is cool. You could also, physics is a key one. We always are like, math and physics are the base of engineering. If you can work with those, if you can kind of maneuver your way through those, then you can be a great engineer. But yeah, just keep pursuing what you find interesting. And if something piques your interest, don't be afraid to delve deep into it. And if you're me and you have an interest in space, maybe ask your physics teacher, like, hey, do you know something about like the Voyager 1 and how far it went and like the golden record on it and how they like made that? Because like I wish I asked those questions, but but definitely don't be afraid to ask questions and be like, I'm interested in this. Do you have anything that can help me? Like ask your teachers, ask your school, like, hey, can we do more stuff like this? And you're already a step in the right direction by coming here. So I want to applaud you on that one. I really think that will be very helpful.
All right, Erin or Alex, anything to add?
Erin, I know you took some courses in high school.
That I did. My high school actually had a number of engineering courses, but I was very more focused on my math side of things, even though I probably could have done more in terms, because they had like this whole like principles of engineering class and you got to go into a wood shop. And honestly, if I were to do it all over again, I probably would have done that class too if I could have fit it in my schedule. But yeah, it's I did a lot of exploration in terms of like seeing what was out there, seeing what I liked, and like that sort of a thing. I found that very useful in terms of finding where I wanted to be. Finding classes that seem to like call to me, if that makes any sense. Like that was a lot of what I did throughout high school, and I found it, I guess, kind of useful in terms of finding where I fit in terms of like my major and stuff.
Thank you. So Alex, I'm going to flip it just a little bit and let you have the last word. Why UMass? Like how did you know that UMass was where you wanted to be? There's so many different engineering schools.
Yeah, so like I sort of mentioned, I was starting to forget if I didn't actually mention this in the panel or in our conversation before the panel.
Don't remember.
But,
again.
But just saying this, to sort of go off the high school thing, transitioning into UMass, I wouldn't change it. I didn't come from an engineering background in high school. I took tons of humanities classes in addition to physics and calc and, the typical engineering courses. And I'm a big proponent for just taking whatever you want. Is art history engineering? No, but do what you're passionate about. Find those passions in high school and really cultivate them, because that's what's really going to drive you for the rest of high school and into college, and it's going to help you meet great people who are aligned with you, finding a great group of friends, exploring, and keeping up good grades. Probably some of the best things you can do for yourself in high school. And by exploring what you're interested in for potential majors, you're doing just this, and I commend you for that, Anna. But with all these things sort of in mind, I ended up choosing UMass because it's this magical land of wonderfully valued potential. You do not have to pay the private school price tag for the same resources and opportunities. UMass is so big that we have a million different organizations and clubs and programs that you can pretty much explore anything you want. I'm helping out with the Alumni Association. I'm in a business minor. You could build your own major. You can do research. You can do, like, the sky's the limit with UMass. And I believe for paying a cheaper price for that much value, I feel like it's almost unbeatable. The engineering program here is good. It's very versatile. You can do concentrations. You can explore whatever you want. If you're taking something away from this, you can explore anything you want at UMass and get help for it.
So I think thank you, all of you. We'll leave it at that. If you have any follow-up questions, Anna, I'll put my my email, in the chat, so you can email me and I can forward it to any of the women, or the one that is on the website that we've been using for career days is the Engine Diversity at UMass. You can email either one of those, and I'm happy to connect you with the SWE women. They've invited everybody to their Slack drop-in office hours. So everyone here, I think, has a Slack office hour drop-in that you're welcome to join and ask more questions. So thank you for joining us today. I hope you got some questions answered. All right, I'm going to stop recording.